Folk legend has been a subgenre of horror that's been on the rise of late. Antlers deals with the myth of the Wendigo and splices it with good old American drug addiction. This is M.L. Miller Bright's Best in Horror Countdown 2021 through 2022. Counting down the best in horror films released from October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. According to me, M.L. Miller. Here we go. Number 13. Antlers was released on October 29th, 2021. It's streaming on Shudder. It's directed by Scott Cooper and written by Nick Antosca, Henry Chaisson, and Scott Cooper. Kerry Russell plays Julia, a teacher who grows concerned about her student named Lucas, played by Jeremy T. Thomas, who is withdrawn, picked on, telling bizarre stories in class, and drawing disturbing images. Approaching her brother Paul, played by Jesse Plemons, who happens to be the sheriff of the small Oregon town, Julia is frustrated when her concerns are not taken seriously. But when a school counselor and a few kids go missing, the law gets involved. Turns out Lucas is hiding a secret. He's feeding roadkill to his father, played by Scott Hayes, who has been infected by the demonic force of the Wendigo, an evil spirit from Native American folklore. While Antlers can be enjoyed as a simple creature feature, what makes it so enthralling is the rich metaphor it contains involving the opioid epidemic plaguing much of the country. Gnashing teeth and pointy claws aside, the plight of Lucas is similar to many children of parents addicted to drugs, attempting to go on with their lives in public while bearing the unnecessary burden of taking care of a family at a very young age. Jeremy T. Thomas does a fantastic job of playing an insecure, overburdened, and deeply scarred little boy. Through his slumped shoulders, downward stare, and unwashed exterior, Thomas plays Lucas as a boy who seems to simply want to disappear. This is a heartbreaking performance, and some key scenes really illustrate the palpable horrors he experiences. Throughout the movie, drugs seem to be on the tip of everyone's tongue when questioning Lucas's problems. It's the conclusion everyone comes to, given the father's past issues with criminal drug activity and the state the world is in at the moment. The legend of the Wendigo itself is a rich allegory for an all-encompassing hunger, not unlike the need for drugs. These are parallels filmmaker Scott Cooper and writer Nick Antosca and Henry Chaisson recognize and drive home very well. But Antlers never forgets it's a monster movie, and is filled with wonderful monster effects, from the bloody horror of the early parts of the transformation of Lucas's father, where his body is literally rotting and burning up from the inside, to the final metamorphosis into a beast made of claws, teeth, jutting bones, and antlers. This film has a memorable and nightmarish monster at its center. This is a big budgeter, and much of the monster effects are CG, which all look good and well integrated into the scenes, but there are a lot of practical effects used, giving real-world weight to the horrors. Director Scott Cooper, who made his name directing character-centric dramas with Crazy Heart, Out of the Furnace, Hostiles, and Black Mass, proves himself capable of setting up some great scenes of horror spectacle as well as some very heart-wrenching moments of tension. While he wouldn't have been the first person I thought of to make this kind of film, Cooper really does deliver a great-looking movie, but remembers to drench Antlers with powerful human moments. It helps that these moments of humanity are brought to life by the soulful eyes of Kerry Russell. With Julia, Russell manages to bring to life a woman tormented by a past filled with abuse and addiction herself. There are a few scenes where Julia gets righteous in the way she wants to save Lucas from whatever it is that is victimizing him, but for the most part, her struggle is shown in some well-placed moments where she is tempted to go back to the bottle to wash away her problems. Julia sees herself in Lucas, and without shouting it in our faces, the message is communicated clearly through her performance and the looks on her face. Antlers sports an impressive supporting cast. Jesse Plemons kind of plays the part he always does, as the likable, clueless oaf, but is given some poignant moments with Russell. He fares better than Graham Greene, who simply seems to be the only one around providing the Native American voice to a Native American legend. Amy Madigan has a very small part to play, and Rory Cochrane is wasted as he only has a few lines of dialogue and seems only to be there to raise the body count. Antlers pulls no punches and doesn't deliver the happy ending one might expect from a big-budget film. I love the dark overtones that seems to be brewing just before the credits roll. I don't think we need a sequel to the film, but I think if the story is handled as deftly and thoughtfully as this one, I wouldn't mind it. I think if there is a downside to Antlers, it's not its fault. The film feels like it's been advertised to be coming soon for years because it has. I'm glad the folks at Fox Searchlight held back and gave it a theatrical release, but Antlers had so much time to garner anticipation that I fear a lot of people will leave it disappointed. Still, with 2 years of positive hype behind it, I feel a lot of people were building it up to be the next true classic in horror. I was looking forward to seeing it, but after doing so, I started thinking about the next film I wanted to watch. But that's unfair. It's not the best monster movie, but it's a good monster movie. A lot of the monster stuff has been approached before in films like Wendigo, Ravenous, The Ritual, and other smaller budgeted films about the Native American legends. But it is a well-produced film that delivers strong scares, great effects, thematic heft, and characters worth investing in. I'm interested in seeing how Antlers ages, as I feel it will be much more appreciated the further away it gets from the frequent delays and false starts concerning its release. Tragedy leads to more tragedy in this soulful Icelandic folktale. It's more drama than horror, but there are definitely some genre elements throughout. Lamb was released on October 8th, 2021. It's streaming on Showtime. It's directed by Valdimar Jóhannsson and written by Sjón and Valdimar Jóhannsson. Mourning the loss of their only child, Maria, played by Númi Rapace, and her husband, Ingvar, played by Hilmir Snær Guðnason, emotionlessly move through their lives in their Icelandic farmland until one morning a miracle happens. One of the sheep in the barn gives birth to a half-sheep, half-human hybrid. Maria and Ingvar are hesitant at first, but begin treating the young lamb child as if it's their own. Much to the dismay of Ingvar's brother, Peter, played by Bjorn Hjolner Haraldsson, and the sheep who gave birth to the child. Will they be able to provide a good home to their new child? And more importantly, will anyone in their house ever learn how to close the goddamn door? Lamb is a soul-searing allegory about loss and desperation. Númi Rapace and Hilmir Snær Guðnason deliver heartbreaking performances as the grieving parents who rely on this being born in their farm to fill the hole the loss of their daughter left. They even call the baby by the same name. Lamb is a film that will take you through the emotional ringer from beginning to end. Is it a horror movie? No, not really. It's kind of a grounded fantasy story incorporating Icelandic mythology with utter emotional despair. But there are going to be moments that horrify because it takes this fragile situation and highlights the many dangers that threaten to destroy it. The effects are uncannily good. The lamb child has the head and arm of a lamb, and the rest of the body is human, which makes for quite a twisted sight, but also pulls at your heartstrings since the lamb looks like a delicate innocent in this strange situation. The CG, or whatever they use, make everything look absolutely real and in the frame with the actors. While there is a sort of spotty moment towards the end that shows some kinks in the CGI armor, for the most part, you'll believe this little lamb is alive. I can't believe how invested I got in this bizarre little movie. It's acted impeccably, and though they may do dumb things at times, Rapace and Guðnason make you long for them to find happiness. But that's just not the case in this film, where it piles tragedy on top of tragedy all the way through. This is not a feel-good movie. It's a beautiful one that will leave you emotionally exhausted. It's often quite gorgeous, as the hills of Iceland seem to be one of the most serene places one could ever imagine. But wow, did this movie hit me hard. Prepare for some mental anguish, and be ready to scream, "Close the frickin' door already!" as no one seems to have learned that in Iceland. I swear, most of the problems could have been taken care of had someone just closed the damn door. As always, feel free to agree, disagree, or give me your own picks for your favorite horror movies. It's October, so let's talk horror. Come back tomorrow for the next level in the Best in Horror Countdown 2021 through 2022. Be sure to hit all of the pertinent bells and whistles down below, and you'll never miss a post. Happy Halloween, folks.